Do we have it? I think we just say hello, right? Right now? Or what? All right. Oh gosh, we are live. I guess. This is why I didn't want to have guests on yet, because we still got to figure out. You imagine doing this and having like 3 people waiting for you? That'd be so stressful. All right. Yes. Hello. I'm Sam. No. Man, we started this in January. We've had 5 whole episodes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, I was muted that whole time. I'll try one more time. Hey, I'm Parker.
I'm Sam.
That's Sam. And welcome welcome to our first live episode of Being Dead Rots, which is off to a great start. Just muted. Took me 50 minutes to post the link, so you know.
Start the stream before we're ready.
Yeah. As I said before, I'm recording this while it's streaming, and then I'm gonna post it again on our channel probably immediately afterwards. But we'll see.
This is gonna be our messiest episode.
It's gonna be
sure.
messy, but I think it's an easier way to do it, and it might be easier to digest for people. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out after this first episode.
We will see. We will see.
I mean, most of our other episodes were just long takes, anyways. So I guess this isn't too far from reality.
This isn't too different.
Yeah.
Until someone actually shows up.
Right. Until I get that coveted 3 viewers, then we're. I mean, luckily, normally our views come after we upload the video, so I guess it's not that big of a issue. But I also made sure to take the liberty to stream non-copyrighted Christmas music, so that this won't get taken down, but we can also be festive. So.
Nice.
Everybody be rest assured that we will not get copyright striked or the stream taken down. But if we do, I am recording it at the same time, so it's not like if the live stream goes down, the whole episode's gone. So,
awesome.
But I thought it was I made sure that wouldn't happen. So when was the last episode?
That was. Months
September.
Ago.
Our last episode was in September, so that's.
Can I be honest? That's recent than I was expecting.
Yeah, that is a little sooner than I thought.
I was just like, when was it? Like, when we last something?
So we had a very irregular year. 2 of those episodes were in June, I believe. One of those episodes was in August? No, that can't be right. Hold on, let me make sure before I run my mouth. Okay, so that should be right then. Yes, so 2 of them were in June. Episode 3 was in August, and then episode 4 was in September. So it's been definitely a few months.
Yeah.
Sam, how has your life drastically changed in 2 months?
Oh
You don't have to
boy.
get personal, but
Oh, I graduated, I guess.
hey! I mean, I knew
I'm
that.
now
We might as well announce
past
it.
college. Yes, yes.
Uh,
I got good grades on my last classes,
that's
and that was
awesome.
enough to fix all my mistakes on all the other semesters.
That's awesome. Do you have your degree framed yet, or do you not have it?
I don't have it, and my parents
Aw,
said that it's probably gonna take months before it gets here.
lame. Never mind.
Yeah,
Less impressive
yeah.
now. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Um, yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
I gotta get a real job.
Nice. I mean, luckily degrees occasionally help. I've heard they get less helpful, but you know what? I'm proud of you. Good job, Sam.
Thank you, thank you.
Uh, on
Other than that,
the other side of the
nothing
coin,
much.
I failed my classes, so so
Oh yeah, I remember that.
um, yeah, for reasons I will not disclose on this podcast, it's been a rough 2 months on my end, so I definitely failed those classes and I'm retaking them. But
Look, I think there's a pretty good chance that I failed more classes than I've passed.
that's fair.
George.
I mean, you got the credits though,
Got the credits?
or the credits for the
No,
class.
no. If you fail a class, you don't get the credits.
Well, I mean, you got the enough credits to graduate, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I cutting
But
out?
that was after.
Am I cutting out a lot?
Like tiny snippets, not enough
Oh,
where it's just like hard to
okay.
tell what you're saying.
Hopefully, the audio stream's being a little weird looking on my end, but it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. They can hear me. I'll turn it up just a little bit in case, but I think it's fine.
There has been one change.
Yes.
I've now seen Home Alone.
Ooh. So wait, is this your
My
first
way to
time
segue.
seeing
Yeah,
Home
this is the
Alone?
first year I've ever seen Home Alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
My parents love it, but they've never shown me somehow.
that's so weird. So what were your first Home Alone impressions?
Really good. Surprisingly. I always assume it was like one of those movies where it's just like, oh yeah, everybody watched it when they're young, so
Right.
they have fond memories of it. Like Goonies. You know Goonies?
Yeah, Goonies is definitely a little bit of that.
Goonies is not that good for my memory.
Yeah.
And it's basically just like a bunch of people in the 80s growing up were just like, I love this movie. So I thought Home Alone was like that, but it's not. It's actually just good.
Yeah, it's one of the few Christmas movies that kind of surpasses just the Christmas genre and just ends up being a good movie in general.
Yeah.
Let me turn my fan off. See if that helps. But yeah, it's one of those movies that just is good and without having to just be a good Christmas movie, which I've always thought is good. I do remember. What did you think of all of Kevin's crazy kooky traps that may or may not actually be deadly in real life?
For the first movie,
Yes. Oh, did you watch both of them?
I watched both of them, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
For the first movie, they weren't as violent
Yeah.
as I was led to believe. And then I watched the second movie.
Yeah, the second movie, they really need to put some sort of warning label on that.
He put the nail gun on a door, and then Marv shoots himself with a nail gun in his crotch and his ass.
So, the one I know that everybody remembers, and I think can you guess which one everybody talks about from 2?
Is it the skeleton?
Yes,
Marv
it is the skeleton. It's Marv electrocuting the living hell out of himself, and then his skeleton showing. That seems to be the one that everybody remembers off the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's
interesting because I've never seen another John Hughes movie,
Yeah.
and both the first two Home Alones were written by John Hughes.
Oh, okay.
And I was scrolling through Twitter, and I follow some film Twitter people, and someone posted a GIF from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is a John Hughes movie.
Yeah.
And it's a part where Steve gets electrocuted and turns into a skeleton.
So he's done that
used
two
it.
times now.
He's done that twice.
I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Is what I'm saying.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you can get away with electrocuting two characters in the exact same method in similar movies, then hey, do it.
Yeah. I'm interested actually now to watch some more John Hughes movies because so far Home Alone and Home Alone 2 are the only two movies that have anything with John Hughes that I've seen.
Let me see what I've seen from him. I feel like, are they all Christmas movies, or has he directed more than that?
No, he did a Pretty in Pink.
I've seen a lot of his movies.
He had Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Uncle Buck.
Oh, yeah?
Uncle Buck is a really good movie of his.
Another one with Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, that's the other one with Macaulay Culkin.
And John Candy, who's in Home Alone.
John Candy is in Uncle Buck, and he's really, really great. That might be my favorite John Candy movie. I haven't seen too many, but of the ones I've seen of him, that one's hysterical. It's this one where
I'll have to watch it.
Just to sum up the plot, I believe it's like the parents go out of town, and their Uncle Buck comes and babysits them, and it's chaos because he's never babysitted kids before. And the big thing I remember from that movie is the daughter in the family gets like I don't know if it's like sexually harassed or just harassed in general. And John Candy shows up with his car, like with his really old car, and this guy looks over, and John Candy gets out and opens his trunk and is like doing this whole monologue. I think he pulls out a chainsaw.
Oh, holy shit!
The kid like runs the hell away. I think hold on, let me make sure on that. John Candy chainsaw. Yeah, definitely. He pulled out a chainsaw out of his trunk.
Oh my god!
It's really great. I really like that scene.
Letterboxd, Uncle Buck.
He's
to watch later.
Breakfast Club is good. I feel like everyone's seen Breakfast Club by this point.
I have not.
You haven't seen Breakfast Club?
The thing you gotta know about me is that I've seen a lot of shitty, little-known movies and no good, well-known movies.
Yeah, mine is the reverse. I feel like I've seen a lot of like the ones everybody's seen, and then when it comes to more obscure stuff, everyone's like, "Oh, have you heard of this?" Well, I think my big issue is that someone will name a director like you just did with John Hughes, and I just won't know who you're talking about until I pull up their movies, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Pretty much.
Well, that's also the thing. I waste all my time just like looking shit up about movies.
I mean, that's fair, honestly. What else did he did? I think he did all the Beethoven movies.
Weird Science.
National Lampoons.
Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, 16 Candles.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is really great.
It is. I've seen that.
And then Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Wait, what's that?
He did Flubber.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think my mom shows us movies that are older like that have why can't I think of his name right? Robin Williams. And like will show us these movies and we'll be like, yeah, and then later go like, I don't know I don't know what that was. Flubber was kind of that for me. It wasn't bad. I just don't remember much from it, unfortunately.
Wait, are you talking? Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Flubber.
I don't remember either. All I remember is I watched it as a kid, and all I remember is that the ending, the climactic moment, is like Robin Williams throwing Flubber into this guy's mouth, and then it goes down his throat and bounces around his body, and then shoots out his ass.
I think I remember that.
I remember that part clearly, because I remember being like, what is this?
So...
It's just like, thinking about like a weird flubber bouncing around your body is just horrifying.
Right. There's a bit... Well, I was just remembering a joke I thought of yesterday for this stream, which is that technically, by all technicalities, what is it? Home Alone is a body horror movie. I mean, by the most basic technicalities of the genre. of like
Yeah.
stuff happening to your body that would obviously kill you and is impossible in real life, but it doesn't actually kill the character.
More so the second one.
Yeah, more so the second one. The first one is all plausible.
That part where Marv, oh my gosh, that part where Marv just keeps getting hit with bricks in the head.
Yeah, that would
That's
have
body
really
horror.
killed you in real life. Yeah, but it doesn't.
I mean, that would have just like ruined his life.
Right.
Like
I
he'd
like
have
how
like, memory issues and shit.
I like how. Okay, so first off, what the hell did Macaulay Culkin? I can't. Kevin. What the hell did Kevin do before that movie started to make everybody mad at him? Like he had to have done something right before that movie started, right? Did they ever talk about that, or is he just in the
He did. Well, I think it's just like everyone sees him as like useless. He's always asking other people for help.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of think, oh, he's the little kid, that little runt that, never can do anything by himself.
I like to think that he did something really terrible before the movie started, and then it starts immediately after that, and everyone's mad at him, and you're like, oh, what? Stop picking on poor Kevin, but he I don't know, like murdered a child
Like
or something.
He murdered a dog.
Yeah, and
But now he has the perfect chance to work up humans.
that's why everybody's mad at him in the family.
I mean, why didn't he tell it from the beginning?
What's that?
Why didn't he just call the police from the beginning?
I don't know.
He waits until it's like he can humiliate the wet bandits.
Well, I don't think at that point he actually cared enough to call the police, if that makes sense.
Oh.
I don't know. It almost just seemed like he was. I mean, if you're a kid and you're home alone and you have like 20 siblings or whatever he had, is really your first thought going to be like, I got to get back to that?
Well, no, I mean like when he finds out that they're going to rob his house.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Just
I don't know
call
why
the
he wouldn't
police.
have said something around then. But again,
Yeah, he wanted to. That's the thing about the difference. Sorry, I'm kind of getting off topic here, but the thing between the first and the second movie is like the first movie, it's just like really physical pain
yeah,
in that scene. Like Marv gets the nail through his foot,
yeah,
slipping on ice, all that. Then in the second movie, it's more like humiliation
yeah.
kind of stuff, which is just like, oh.
Well, it's I don't know. I don't know. The thing about Home Alone, right, is the first one is good on its own. Like they're both good, but the first one makes sense on its own. Like robbers are coming on Christmas. Mother leaves her kid at home. Whatever, right? But the second one is so strange because it feels like it almost feels like a Groundhog Day situation. Like it's the same thing over again, but in a different location. And I get that that's the point, but it's like from a universe standpoint, it's so weird that would happen 2 times in two of the like 2 back-to-back Christmases. That not only would hold on one second. Not only would she leave her kid again, but then the robbers would try to come after her again. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, hold on one second, everybody. Oh, wait, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That was very weird.
Yeah, it was.
Don't worry, I didn't say too much. I'll leave it open so that doesn't happen again.
Yes.
I don't know what happened before, but I'll leave it open.
I assumed that was what you were talking about before, or I just need to go on my own.
Yeah, sorry.
So I guess I had like this monologue, and then I was just like, wait, am I even like being recorded right now?
I had to say, if you check the stream, it's just me going off about whatever for 50 minutes.
I
What was your monologue about?
I was just like, oh, I guess I'm on my own, and then I checked the stream, and I was like, oh, Parker's saying some shit. I'm not here.
I was I was just saying that it's crazy from. Well, what was funny is when I was saying all this, you didn't say anything. I was like, I don't think Sam agrees with my point. That's usually That's usually what I feel like when I don't hear any feedback coming from someone. I'm like, they just don't agree with. They're about to lay into me on why I'm wrong. I was gonna say that it's weird from a universe standpoint how this whole all of the events from the first movie happen like a second time. It's like a Groundhog Day type of thing, and it's so weird. Like the
Or
same.
Final Destination.
It's like a final, like history's trying to correct itself or something. Like it's trying to.
Yeah, like maybe Joe Pesci and Marv die in the first one, and they didn't.
Oh,
And
maybe.
so in the second one, the universe is trying to set things right.
Well, yeah, that maybe. And then and then Donald Trump shows up for some reason.
Oh yeah. Well, Donald Trump is the embodiment of death, of course.
Right. He was telling where the
He's
lobby
the
was because there
he's
was.
the Tony Todd character
Yeah, exactly. He's the ghost of Christmas future. I don't know.
of Christmas death.
Um, I really like those movies. I'm trying to think if there's another. What? So do
You know what
watch
I want to watch?
what?
I want to watch Angels with Dirty Faces. Why isn't that movie real?
So what is that? You'll have to.
That's the movie he watches. The
Oh, the movie. Yeah, I
keep the
forgot that they
change,
made
you
that.
filthy animal.
I forgot they
Why
made
is
that for
that
the
not?
live stream.
Why is that not a real movie?
I'm sure they somewhere down the line, if people requested it enough, they could put out like the full clip. But I think they made like I can't remember. I think they made like a couple full minutes of that film for that shot. I don't know how much. Obviously they didn't make a whole movie because that wouldn't make any sense. But I think they made
Wait,
like a set of like a decent amount of minutes of that film. I mean, I don't know. That'd be cool to
wait,
see.
hold on. Did I get that right? Because Dirty Faces is an actual movie, it
Well,
seems.
well,
Angels with Filthy Souls.
okay, there it is. Because I think that the movie they showed was a parody of what the one you initially named.
Okay. But I want to see that, like a dude, like pulling out his Tommy gun and
Oh,
just shooting some guy.
I just that whole scene is really great.
Yeah.
I really love the dedication of them sitting there and going, okay, well, we can't get an actual movie to play during this scene. So so why
They had
don't we
to set up a whole set,
exactly.
get a whole other actor who wasn't going to be in any more of the movie, but his performance had to be memorable.
Right. I mean, hey, good for that guy. It was memorable.
Yeah. And then put it in a VHS player and then film the TV.
I feel like the biggest strength for that whole movie, I mean, a lot of it's really great, obviously, but I think the biggest strength they had was casting. One of, I guess. They just casted a really good person for every character, I feel like.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I feel like there weren't too many roles where I was like, they could have switched somebody else out and that would have been a memorable character. I mean, it might literally.
There weren't many moments where you just go like, oh, why'd they say it like that?
Right. The writing and the characters and the movie's strength is the character above all. I feel like
Yeah.
you care what's happening because you like Kevin and you don't want Kevin to die, but you also kind of think these these robbers are a little silly and want to see what they do.
Yeah.
And
like you start out thinking that the family is cool, and then as the movie goes on, they start getting more and more worried about Kevin.
I think it's a big feat of writing and of directing to make a family of like 30 people be characters that you kind of can understand in a way. Like obviously you can't like every single one of them, but you get them, I guess is what I'm trying. Like they seem like real children that were really in this situation.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
And even Buzz,
right,
who's just like a little shit. You
It's-
even go like, Buzz is kind of cool at
Buzz-
the end of both movies.
Buzz is one of those roles at that age and that specific type of character that it's very easy to fall short when the movie's being
Yeah.
It's like for a bully that you have to be comically mean to a character and fit all of that. He did a really good job at not seeming ridiculous while doing it.
Yeah.
Um, speaking of Christmas movie bullies, do you know so have you watched A Christmas Story as well, or do you not watch that many Christmas movies?
I
That was a
have
really weird way of
watched.
saying that. I apologize. That it
That's
made it
fine.
sound like do you like this movie or do you hate Christmas? Like that's what that question sounded
No, I hate Christmas. Um, I have seen. Uh, I think as a whole, like if I'm counting all the experiences I've had coming across it on TV
Yeah.
or sitting down and watching some of it with my family, I've seen all of A Christmas Story.
Okay. So do you know the bully in that movie? Let me get his real name. Zach Ward. But
I
his
cannot remember.
his name in
I
the
remember. Yeah, I remember the bullies. I remember the bullies.
his name in the movie where is Scott Farkas? It's Farkas. They call him Farkas.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just a fun fact because I felt like it was funny. I guess he follows me on Twitter and I didn't realize it.
What?
So subtle flex. The bully from A Christmas Story follows me, you guys. So
Very
don't be,
specific flex.
don't be too jealous. It's a very
Hey,
once a year flex.
who is it that follows me? Uh, what's his name? Chocolate Rain guy.
Oh, I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
He followed me for a bit. He's unfollowed me since, but at least I think. Hold on, wait.
When I was
Let me look it up.
okay, um, when I was
Hayes on Day.
oh, sorry, I'll let you. I'm gonna take a drink of water while you look this up.
No, he doesn't follow me anymore.
Oh, what a lameo.
His loss.
But like, I have a really long history with my Twitter and celebrities that I like, and I'm not too happy about it. I'll go on this rant quick and we'll cycle back. But I have this thing where when I was 16, I think I messaged a lot of my favorite creators for some reason, thinking that like so it ranged from like, hey, I like your things, and I was really hoping I'd get a response, to me emailing them and going, we should collaborate, even though I'm 16 and have no skills to offer. But I would also get really random follows from people that I had always liked, like Ric Flair is a wrestler. You might have heard of him. He's gone a little bit past.
I remember that name.
Yeah, so Ric Flair is a wrestler and he's pretty great. And he, when I was a kid, used to be like my favorite wrestler of all time. It's a little different now, but he's really great. But he followed me when I was like 16 or 18. It was one of the two. There's no 17 in my brain. It's just either 16 or 18. He followed me around that time, and I was like, oh man, that's so crazy. Ric Flair followed me. And I immediately checked my, like, the thing, and I was like, oh, that's cool, he followed me. And I checked a little bit later to show my dad, and he wasn't following me anymore. I think what happened is some guy, some Ric Flair intern accidentally followed me, and then he's like, oh shoot, and then quickly unfollowed me after that.
That's hilarious.
I also was blocked by a wrestler that I really, really liked, and I didn't know why, and I was really upset about it for a few months, and they just...
Oh no.
So I don't know what that was about.
Oh no.
Kevin Owens, if you're watching this stream with one viewer, I apologize for whatever I did. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop my Twitter rant.
So you're talking about Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, well I guess we can talk about Christmas Story if you want.
Well, do you know? Well, I haven't seen Christmas Story in a while.
Yeah.
But do you know the director of Christmas Story?
You know, off the top of my head, I don't.
Bob Clark, who is the director of 3 pretty good horror movies from the 70s.
Really?
He did Black Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Which is a better Christmas movie than A Christmas Story.
You know...
And he also did Death Dream, aka Dead of Night.
Yeah.
That movie about a Vietnam War veteran who comes back home and is a zombie vampire guy.
Huh.
which is also really good. I have that. And he also did Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, which I have not seen, but I hear is good.
So gotcha. Okay. I feel like my issue is I don't know. There's so many movies that I haven't seen that every person on the planet has seen. I don't know what my issue
Yeah.
is. Like someone will be like, "Hey, have you watched?" And it's the most like popular movie they know at the moment, and I'm like, "No." And they're like, "What?" But it's even the same with like obscure movies. I don't know what my issue is.
Uh, I think I just watch too much movies is the thing.
Well, no, like even people. I'm trying to think of what the example is. Someone will just name a movie, and like I've heard the movie, and I hear people talk about it, but I've never watched it, and they're like, "What?" And it's like a popular. I don't know what my issue is. I just don't watch movies. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I fix that problem?
Watch movies.
I just watched a bunch of movies.
Fair enough.
I spent like a summer watching like 3 movies a day.
I have this issue though with watching movies, and I don't know if this is a common thing with people or if it's just all of the things wrong with me mixed up into a personality trait. But I have this issue where if it's like a big movie that I know is like a movie everybody really likes, I'll almost feel like I have to reserve like a special time for it, if that makes sense. Like
I have the same thing.
like I'll sit down and I'll be like, this movie, I can't watch this movie right now because this isn't a special. Like, I gotta wait until I'm fully invested for this movie.
I gotta wait until it feels right.
Right. I don't know why that is for me. Like, I almost feel like maybe because I normally watch stuff and play games or whatever, like I do two at the same time. And so maybe I'm just waiting for a time where I actually sit down and pay attention to a movie for once.
Yeah, I have the same thing, but for me, it's like I wait until I'm in the right mood.
Yeah.
Like I have to be like, okay, I gotta be actually like interested. Like if I have like a slight headache and I'm kind of tired, I'll be like, oh, I'll watch something else that I don't really care about
That makes sense.
because I'm afraid of being like biased because of the headache and being like, oh, this might have been good, but I couldn't really pay much attention.
I'm gonna apologize because I don't know if the audio is echoey, but it is. If it is, I apologize. I'm getting a headset soon, so it won't be after this episode.
Awesome,
But
awesome.
but yeah, for this episode, it's gonna be weird. All of it's gonna be weird for this episode, but it's okay. We gotta have one terrible episode so that the rest of them are all up from there. You know what I mean?
It's like drawing. You gotta have 1,000 bad drawings, and then you get a good one.
Right, and then that one's gonna hopefully stand out above the other 1,000 really bad ones.
And then you're gonna wonder how you did that good one and try it again, but make 1,000 more bad drawings.
Right. That's my thing with some of my art. I don't know how I do certain things. Like, I feel like it's so weird that the ones that I have that people are like, "Wow, that's really cool. I'd like to see more of that." And I always reply, "I'd like to see it too," because I don't know how I achieved that the first time. And I'll try to recreate it.
It's just like it always feels like my hand slipped, and then suddenly this great thing happened. I'm like, oh shit.
Well, what my old thing used to be with art is I draw an initial thing and then layer a bunch of different like photo editing things and like different layers of filters to see like how bad I could mess up the photo, and that's how some of them come out. But then I don't like have it documented anywhere what I did to achieve the effect, and so then I can never achieve it again after that. I don't know how to recreate it.
You just keep a record of what you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna just write down brushstroke and and then go to the next thing and do another brushstroke and then write that down until the drawing is finished.
So Home Alone.
Yeah, we're really sticking to topic today, guys. What do you think of Bird Lady? Is she Bird Lady or is she something? Is she another animal?
She's Bird Lady.
Okay,
Pigeon
right,
Lady.
Thank God. I was afraid she was like Squirrel Lady or something, and then I forgot. But
the thing is, I like the second one more just because of the house scene. It's more violent and more, in my opinion, like better comedically paced.
Yeah.
Like the part where he throws one can and throws the other, and they know that he throws cans. So they wait until he throws two, and then they start going upstairs, and then he throws like this big giant pole,
Yeah.
and it hits them, and then they fall down the hole. But that's not enough. He also cuts the string on the pole so that it bounces down the stairs onto them.
He
That's like my favorite
enjoys it.
scene from what?
I think he enjoys it.
Yeah,
I think
that's like
why they get more elaborate.
yeah, yeah. He's a sadist.
Yeah. I don't. I
But the thing the first movie has over the other one, there's a lot of things the first movie has over the other one. But the main thing is the old man in the first one is a much better character than the pigeon lady.
mm, yeah.
He has more empathy to him.
It almost felt like when they were doing the second movie, they're like, okay, well, we're doing everything again. We need another like guide character for him to talk to, and then help him out again later.
Well, yeah. Well, the second movie is the first movie,
Right.
except in New York.
Right. Which again is strange.
Exactly the same.
With Kevin.
It's the universe.
What's his name? Oh, I
Yeah.
almost said something wrong. What's his
Kevin McAllister.
No, he's Pennywise.
Tim Curry.
Wait, I can't. No.
Huh?
Okay, Tim Curry. I'm sorry. You said it right. I just couldn't hear words. You said it right. I just for some reason didn't register the word. Yeah, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
I don't remember much about him in that movie. I haven't watched two in a while. I watch one almost religiously every year just because I know it's going to be good, but I don't remember much about two if I'm being honest.
There's that good McElroy bit where they talk about how he walks into a shower fully expecting a little kid to be in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really like he's good in it.
Yeah,
he's a good kind of antagonist.
He really pulls out. Well, that's the thing about that movie that's also really. Oh wait, break. Sorry, 1 second.
Okay, taking a break. All right, well, welcome to the break time. For real this time. Parker just texted me, be right back. He's got to make an important call. So what the fuck do I talk about? I guess, oh God, I don't even know. I never record anything just by myself. Because I've never recorded anything secret. So, like, it could just be piss in the wind right now. So, let me tell you about a movie. What movie should I talk about? Pig. I recently watched this movie called Pig from 1999 or 98. It depends on which internet database you go to. It is this gay uh, movie, 20 minutes long. I'd recommend it if you were into real me shit. It features mutilation, real mutilation. People, not animals. People consenting. So it's fine. It features a lot of sexual stuff. It is a very interesting movie. And I recently watched it, and it was great. I watched it on the recommendation of my friend, who I mention every fucking podcast because he has great movie taste, Perry Rowland, who you all should check out on Twitter and support his stuff. He is great. He's a great writer. He's made some cool films. Sungazer, which came out real early this year. He's currently working on a Lucio Fulci tribute anthology with a bunch of other writers. It's called Book of Ebon. That's how you pronounce it. I could be dead wrong. Its Kickstarter recently succeeded, so I guess maybe you can't get it now. So sorry for that. But maybe sometime in the future somebody will be selling it. I don't know if that's a possibility because it seems pretty cool, and I don't know who would sell it. Uh, but yeah, check out Sun Gazer. It is streamed. I think it's on Vimeo right now. You can go buy it and support Perry. I don't know how the fuck I forgot this. I also did the last Natillion, and that had 8 stories in it, and by me, which I can't comment because that would be fucking ego, but me. Let's talk about um. What's something we can talk about? Um, I have no fucking clue. My mind is blank. Absolutely blank. I am a deer in the headlights right now. Maybe this is something that happened. Yeah, I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I've recently been watching. Recently, it's been like a month or so since I've been doing it, but I'm really owning all of David Cronenberg movies. Some mixed bag. All of his style, like the 90s, is great. Well, not all. Fast Company isn't great. Maybe Scanners too, but it's been a while since I've seen the Scanners, so I can't really comment on it too much. But it's very interesting to see him as he progresses in his career. Um, yeah, but his most recent stuff is like really fucking mixed. I love Eastern Promises. That's a good movie. History of Violence is alright. Cosmopolis is a hot mess, but it's a really great movie. Uh, oh my god, but like, uh, I don't even know the title. That's how much I like it. The one with Keira Knightley and Vigo and fucking Michael Fassbender, all about Freud. Something patient? I don't remember. It's so boring. It's so boring. It's just like, what are you doing, Cronenberg? What is this? It's so dry and dull. I don't care. Like, give me another Eastern Promises, please. I'm dying here. And then there's Spider, which is okay. It is kind of weird and pointless. It has a twist, one of those things where the twist doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just, why is this happening? I don't know, but it's a twist. Um, I'm about to watch Map to the Stars. And then I'm gonna watch Crash. And that's gonna be my last Cronenberg. Crash. Which I hear has some pretty adult situations in it. I may not be able to watch it with my little baby eyes. But I can definitely watch Pig, but not Crash. I'm a child. I can't watch that. I have no idea how long Parker's gonna be. I got again to see if we're recording. I gotta check again to see if this is actually being picked up or if I'm just like being stupid right now. Okay, I'm recording. I'm recording. Oh, excited for Christmas. Oh, what the? Echo off. Okay, that was weird. It's pretty weird because Christmas is weird this year because of everything. But a fun time with what I do, watching Christmas movies with my family, not Christmas families with my movies. That'd be weird. Uh, But yeah, we watched. I haven't seen another thing. I haven't seen. Wait, no. Let me wait until Parker's back before I start talking about this shit. Um, I got this movie today because what we usually do, what we did last year, we started last year, where we might just keep doing it every year, is we go to a store called Second and Charles, and they have these boxes full of DVDs and Blu-rays that you just don't know what's in the box. So you buy it and then you open it, and whatever you get is a surprise. And so what we do is we buy two boxes, bring them to my grandmother's, and my grandmother, who loves movies, opens one, and me and my family, my mom and my dad, open another. This year, they got some interesting things. Terminator 2, Starship Troopers, Fight Club, Men in Black, all three Spider-Man movies, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, a bunch of like stuff that's just like you'd like find on some teenager's top 100 film list. But my grandmother got something she was gonna keep. I was so visibly just interested in it that she was like, "Here, you take it. You first, because I don't know when I'm gonna watch it first and then give it back to me." It's called Acne. It's a movie from 1999. Go search that and go look for the poster. If you can't find anything for that, try Acne 2000, because the years are kind of sketchy. But like the cover, first off, the cover of the DVD says Night of the Living Dead meets David Cronenberg, which I have no fucking clue what that means. But the cover is like these two people with heads that look like they just fucking exploded, and they're shooting this light beam at oil cans. It has songs by Devo and the Dead Kennedys, and the direct name is Rusty Nail. And I just have no clue what this is. I have not been able to find much. I did like a little searching. I haven't been able to find much on about it. I'm just so like ready to watch this because there's nothing about this that I know. Apparently, like it's like people become zombies because they have pimples or something. And it's like, what? Excuse me? Yeah, this is so fucking weird. I saw it, I'm like, what is that? I've never seen that before. Which is strange because I look up like a bunch of movies. I'm friends with people who really obscure, really not well known movies. I've never heard of this. It's just this object that I'm just like entranced with. I have a feeling the movie's not going to be that good, but like still, this is like a special thing. I don't even know how this is on DVD because like there's no information about it. It's so strange. Ugh. Well, that killed good amount of time. But now I am out of shit to talk about. What, oh what, will I ever talk about? I really don't know. I don't know what to talk about. Um, I'm just like desperately looking around my room, trying to find something that'll catch my eye and fucking give me a path to go down conversation. Because I'm not just gonna like have it be just completely silent. And there's just a completely silent part of this, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck is this?" Um, oh fuck, I really don't know. I really don't know. I got all three Star Wars movies on a Blu-ray, which is cool. It's the three original ones. So I guess I might watch those. I don't know, because I don't want the fucking shitty George Lucas remastering. They did that with THX. I would have liked THX, or it have weird CGI monkeys in it that don't fit this movie made in the 70s. Like there are some things that I go like, oh, okay, I get that. Like there's this hallway scene where it's supposed to be just a bunch of people walking around, and it's an intense scene. And in the original, it's not that much people, but in remastering, he just added a bunch more people. That makes sense. I guess that makes more sense. But like, he added a jerk off droid to this one scene in THX. We're just like, what? 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 Why do you need a droid for that? Can't you just like do it in the future? I don't want to watch that. I might. I can't. I don't think I could say. I don't know. I don't want to watch that shit. I don't want the stupid no scream or the scream at the end of Empire Strikes Back that ruins this whole stoic moment, or the weird CGI rock band in the third one. I don't want that. I just want to watch Star Wars. I just want to consume media. Can't I do that? I got both Men in Black films for Christmas, which is, I like those movies. I haven't seen the second one since I did. Second one, I remember being more of a hot mess. But I like the first one. Cool. First one's me. The first one has a weird bug creature that's just like icky. Takes a guy's skin and puts it over him. That's pretty cool. I remember the cartoon. Cartoon was fucking great. At least from what my memories as a child. It's very. I like this visual style. Visual style was very interesting to me. I remember there's this one that there's an episode where there's a creature with like it had those kinds of like dog type legs. Oh, Parker's writing. Sorry, I'm on back. Okay. Okay, Parker. Okay, you get here. You get here, Parker. Parker is on his way. What the fuck?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm really sorry about that.
That's fine.
I left
do what you gotta do.
Hey, everybody. I'm back
I
after that.
talked a long time about movies.
Nice. I mean, hey, that's what the podcast's for, right?
Yeah.
So I have topics because I can never remember them by myself. I do have a paradox I'd like to discuss with you.
Okay.
So every Christmas, we watch. Everybody on the planet watches Christmas movies, and in these Christmas movies, I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I would almost say Polar Express, but I haven't seen it in a bit. So there's Christmas movies where all the parents, anytime parents say this is what throws me off. The parents are like, "Oh, Santa's not real, ha ha ha." Whether they say it to a kid or they like say it amongst themselves, they're like, "Oh, Santa's not real, ha ha ha," whatever, right? But in that movie, he exists, right?
Yeah.
And you'll like whatever kind of. I think Polar Express isn't the best. Oh yeah, no, Polar Express is a good example because his parents do mention Santa not being real. But so why in heaven's name do those parents not believe in Santa?
Is true.
So the okay. So imagine this: you're a parent, and you have children, and then you go under your Christmas tree, and there's presents.
Mm-hmm.
So do the parents just not talk to each other all of December? Like, do they both just assume the other is buying all the presents?
Yeah, that's a big like flaw.
Yeah,
in any of it.
It's
why it's more fun to watch movies where people are just like, "Oh yeah, Santa's real."
Right. Well, like Polar Express is a good example, like I said, because they talk about not believing in him, and then we see he's real. But at the same time, at the end of that movie, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Polar Express, by the way, at the end of that movie, he gets that bell, and the rules are that if you can't hear it, you don't believe in Santa Claus, right? And the parents shake it and they don't hear anything.
Yeah.
So my theory, as I'm saying this right now, is that Santa Claus uses this creepy Santa magic to make it so all the parents think they bought the presents, but he's actually doing it, which is a really weird thing to do.
I thought of that too, and my biggest question of that is always why? Why
Right.
would he do that?
Why would he purposefully make it so the parents would take credit in their own minds for something that Santa is doing?
It falls up more when the plot of the movie includes Santa having to have people believe in him for him to do shit.
Yeah,
So
like,
why would you not be known?
wouldn't that? Yeah, so Elf's a good example of that too.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
so belief is down in Elf, and yet he's literally delivering the presents in that movie, and we know that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I? It's all so. I mean, I know they're Christmas movies, and you're not supposed to think too deep about it, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's like 2 or 3 movies that have that happen. It's a pretty consistent plot point of like
It's just they never address that.
no, of like the parents talking about, oh, he still believes in Santa Claus, and then
Yeah.
he obviously exists in those movies.
Very obviously.
So, because if he, I don't even know. I don't know. My brain's exploding trying to think about this. I don't know. It's just, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's a flaw
It's a
of
big
the
flaw.
genre.
And again, they're Christmas movies, so I won't dissect it too much. But it's just strange how it's so common. Like, it's almost like they all share a universe in which that's a reality, where for some
Yeah.
reason they all think it's not Santa, and they don't even explain what they think it is, though. Because if they explained that it was the parents, then all of that magic would be gone for the kids watching it. So they can't be like, oh, haha, it's parents, and then Santa shows up, because then the kids would be thinking, wait, what if it is my parents? But they,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's so weird. I wish hey, every movie producer ever that's made a Christmas movie, fix this plot point.
We know you're watching right
Exactly.
now.
All of you are watching on one computer.
Yeah.
At the same time, and we want to know what the hell.
You're some intern has his computer open and you're all looking over his shoulder.
Exactly.
Hey producers, while you're at it, you stink. Uh-huh.
Dang. He didn't have to go that far. I'm afraid I'm going to get demonetized.
Oh god.
Even though I
You're
don't
right.
make money off of these.
Wait, producers? That's us.
Oh,
That's our IP. You can't say producers.
get them.
We get taken down because of like somebody copyright strikes for like the movie, the producers.
Copyright strikes for being a meanie on video. We're not allowed to be mean on video. I'm sorry, everybody.
We are not.
So
I think we're done with Home Alone 2.
Yeah, I think we've way gone. That's usually our thing with movies like that, where we'll talk about it for like maybe an hour, and then the other like 3 hours are just nonsense.
Yeah. Can I talk about something real quick?
Yes.
Have you seen the movie The Christmas Chronicles?
Is that well, maybe it's not an anthology if I'm remembering incorrectly, but it's like several different Christmas stories, all horror themed.
No.
Oh, okay. What am I thinking of then?
That might be I think I've seen that. But I'm talking about the Kurt Russell.
The Netflix movie.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I know about that movie. I've never seen it.
In it, this line has always stuck with me. I guess this is related because the second one was directed by Chris Columbus, who directed the Home Alone movies.
Oh.
Huh?
We're full circle.
Huh?
I said we went full circle.
Yeah, kind of.
Right.
Like a badly drawn circle. In it, he has this line. He tells them, this also has to do with the Christmas spirit thing, he tells them he needs Christmas spirit to be up.
Hmm.
Or if he doesn't make his rounds, then bad things will happen. And he says that this has happened before. And he says, when Christmas spirit goes all the way down, you get really bad things happening.
Right.
You remember, like, he says, like those wars. Presumably talking about, World War One, World War Two, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean when you talk about those wars.
Right.
Everyone knows those wars mean 1 and 2, the
Right.
big ones. That means, let's think about this logically,
Right.
which I don't think the writers did, because that means Santa is saying because he didn't make his rounds 1 year, World War II happened. Which means Santa is responsible, sorry to get dark here, is responsible for the Holocaust.
Man.
That's what that means.
Come on, Santa. The hell.
He is directly responsible because he did not make his rounds 1 year.
I don't know why writers write themselves into corners like that. Like, if you come
Please
up...
give us a good reason why he caused the Holocaust.
Right. If you come up with lines like that, you have to sit down with like another person that isn't involved in the process as you, and say that line to them and have them tell you why that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what was the movie? Have you watched, is it Searching? What is it? It's the movie filmed in the same way as Host and as Unfriended, and it's this movie.
I think it's called Searching. I haven't seen it.
It's about a dad whose daughter goes missing, and he uses her laptop to figure out where she went. And it's actually one of my favorite movies that uses that whole like screen capture method. But where was I going with this? I'm sorry. It was
People don't think about.
They the two people who made that, I think it was two guys who like directed it and wrote it. They would sit down and back and forth give their ideas and have the other one shit on it, and then have it back and forth for like an hour. And I think that's what like Christmas movies need almost at this point, because they'll say weird lines like that, and that's fine. Like, it's a Christmas movie, but at least make it make sense.
Yeah, that's how Rec was made.
Oh, really?
Because Rec has two directors, and basically they had agreement that if they both didn't agree on a certain thing, it wasn't going to be in the movie.
Gotcha. Okay, that's actually interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's helpful to have two people at the head of something like that in movies. And
that might be why the first two movies are critically acclaimed, and the second two movies.
We don't talk about the last two. We don't talk about those.
I have yet to see them still.
I have yet to see them, and I feel like I've had this conversation on the podcast before, but based on the clips that I've seen of that film, I don't think we're missing much. We could probably do an episode on 3 and 4, but I don't know where to watch them. I've actually looked, and it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I put it on my Christmas list for a few years now, but I'm hoping maybe this year I'll get that big Blu-ray box set.
Ooh, there you go.
That'd be great.
Don't 3 and 4
and then I could
the
okay. Then it would be possible. I'm not saying I'd do this, but then it'd be possible for me to stream them to you, and we'd watch them together.
Not that we would do anything illegal like that.
We wouldn't do that, but it'd be possible.
We wouldn't do that.
We would not, but it'd be possible.
Did you see that they snuck a rule into COVID relief bill?
Yeah.
So to clarify, because I think it's been thrown around a lot and some words have been chopped up, it's actually for commercial streaming for profit. So
okay.
I think an example would be, I almost think an example would be streaming a movie on Twitch. Could possibly fall under that. YouTube might be different.
It's still making that a felony.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That goes, I think, up to 10 years, doesn't it?
I don't know. I haven't really read it. All I know is that it's a felony in that bill.
But don't worry. That doesn't mean if you stream a movie from a sketchy source that you're going to jail for 10 years. It just means that...
Not that we do that.
I mean, not that we're going to. No. Speaking of pirating things, because I might as well admit this since I'll explain why it's fine for me to say this. So my so I was playing a lot of the Resident Evil games, and I wanted to play one again, but I'm a cheap ass, and so I was like, I'm just gonna find this somewhere. And I tried different places and I couldn't get it. So I went to not Pirate Bay. That's not what it's called. It's another site totally. But I got it there, and I keep forgetting that you're supposed to get a VPN when you download those things, because I got a my mom talked to me a couple days later, and we share the same Wi-Fi, and she's like, so the cable company's been emailing me like a couple times a week saying that you downloaded like a game on your computer. I didn't know that was how that worked. I didn't know they could see your downloads like that. I mean, that's stupid. Of course they would, but I didn't know that they were monitoring it like that. And so they were literally like shaming me. Like they were emailing my mom going, someone in your house downloaded Resident Evil off of a pirated website. So like I said, it's fine for me to say because the cable company already knows, and I deleted it, so it's okay. It's fine. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
I was really worried when you said, and I'm going to explain why it's okay for me to say this.
No, don't worry.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to say any. I'm not what is it? Where they have their rant sonas in front of the screen with their arms crossed, like, why it's okay to do a horrible, awful thing that everybody agrees is wrong. You know, those videos.
Rant tubers.
So I'm gonna mention this, and if you don't want to get into it, I mean, it's not like it's a horrible thing, but if you don't want to talk about it, I just won't say anything. But have you heard much about the YouTuber Dream and his speedrun status right now?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know much about that situation?
All I know is that Donkey made a video. That's all I've seen of it.
So I've become pretty. So I'm not like in the speedrunning community. Like I haven't put any speedruns up yet. Not that that's going to be the case forever. But I'm pretty well versed at this point how that stuff works. And Dream, who is I was about to say a popular Minecraft YouTuber, but he's kind of the popular Minecraft YouTuber right now. Like all these statistics show he's at the top right now in terms of YouTube. And he submits speed runs on the side, and he's pretty good at it. But the issue is in one of his speed runs, which all of them are live streamed. He got a lot of lucky things that happened in that speed run. Like, I don't know if you've seen the number for how lucky he got, but the odds that the stuff that happened and that would have happened to him was, I think, 1 in 75 billion. I think that's maybe trillion. I think it might be billion, but I could be wrong on that.
Parker.
What?
I'm sorry, my parents are calling me.
Oh, no problem. You're fine.
I'll be right back.
No problem. While we're waiting, how's everybody doing? I don't know if anybody's actually been talking in the chat. Let me take a look. I don't think anyone has. But oh yeah, there was someone in the chat, and I feel really bad because I missed it. I'm so sorry, Zap. Yes, I do follow Zap. Zap makes some cool content, and I would recommend everybody go take a look at it. I think it's just at Zap Porter. Not to plug, they had talked about it in the chat, and they're the only person here. So you know what? You're the only person here. I'll give you a little bit of a nudge. How about that? I don't know. I felt like that'd be a good idea. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's a terrible idea to say. I'm gonna. It would suck if one of the two of us left, and then the other person goes on like an awful, terrible rant about something awful, and then the other person gets back, and then people are like, that other person said something really awful, guys. Wait, and the other person's associated with them. I think that'd be really funny. I don't know. What's everybody's Christmas plans for the 0 people that are watching this? For people who are watching the VOD, the video on demand, or the recorded version of this episode, we love you very much. Merry Christmas. I'm glad we're getting to do this so close to Christmas. Oh, I'm getting all kinds of messages. My bad. But yeah. Maybe I'll save that in a minute. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to talk about now. Sam's not in the room. Let's see. You should follow the both of us on Twitter, since I'm shamelessly promoting right now. For me, it's at Parks00, and for Sam, it's at Comic Nerd Sam. But it is on the screen, so in a free to use font I found online, so it's totally fine. Yeah, I post about random ridiculousness and art, and Sam posts art and then stuff about movies. So pretty cool. Everybody should be following the both of us, and then turning those notifications on, and then subscribing to Being Dead Rots, and then doing all of those things in succession because you love us. That should be what's happening right now. What else is happening in the universe of today? Oh, how about that? How about that finale of The Mandalorian, everybody? Huh? How was that? I'll talk about it more later, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of The Mandalorian. I haven't talked too much on Twitter about it for some reason, but I'm a pretty massive fan of The Mandalorian. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just a combination of like Star Wars and the more Western elements coming back, and like characters that you really wanted to see in live action, but also characters that are returning in live action. Also, the guy who played as, I want to say his actual name because I would feel really bad if I link him back to Breaking Bad again.
Parker.
Yes.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm back. Sorry for that.
No, you're fine. Okay, I was saying words and I gotta remember what they were. Oh man. Oh yeah, Dream. And so he submitted the runs, and they were live stream clippings. But again, it was like 1 to either 70, like 7 trillion, I think is what it was. I believe that's the number. Which you can't find lower odds. I think the lowest odds that are lower than his run happening are you as a person with all of your combinations of genes and everything being born on the planet.
Ooh.
That's one of the few things that have less of a chance of happening than Dream doing that run. So
wow.
It's fair to say that he very likely cheated, or at the very minimum, the run is too sketchy to publish. Right? Like that's the conclusion you'd come to. And that's the conclusion that the mods came to. They watched so a video got made, right, by some small person, nobody knows him, which is important for later. And so when a complaint like that is made by the run was in, I think, the top 5, maybe top 4 for a bit, but that's a substantial run, and so they have to check those things. And so after that video claim got put out, and the video actually did a lot of mathematical analysis of everything, like what the drop rate is in Minecraft and blah blah blah. And so they checked it, and they did their own research, and they actually reached out to him for a couple straight months, and they asked him like, "Hey, can we see your mod folder, just to make sure there's nothing sketchy in it?" And he was pretty uncompliant the entire time. Specifically, the mod folder, he said, "Oh, well, I clear out my mod folder every day, so there won't be anything in it." And they're like, I mean, okay, but we still need to see it. Stuff like that. And so after all of that, they put out an announcement like a couple weeks ago saying that his run was being taken down, just that one. which is a very reasonable response for possible cheating. For the record, people have had all of their run records in all categories and all games taken down before because of cheating, for much more evidence than that. But he got one run taken off, and they're like, unless you can do it again or prove it or whatever, we're going to keep this off. So, if you were in this situation, Sam, what do you think would be, just out of curiosity, what do you think you would do in this situation?
It's specifically I was cheating and I know it, or I wasn't cheating.
So either one, honestly.
I want to prove it. Huh?
Either one, honestly. So let's say you didn't cheat. What would you?
I would present evidence. I would contact them and be like, "Hey, let me give my side," and try to get that back up.
Right. So guess what Dream didn't do? So essentially what happens is this entire time, like I said, as far as I know from the Discords that I'm in, and I'm in a lot of speedrunning Discords for some reason, Dream, they had contacted him a couple different times asking for a couple different bits of information. And it's not that he wasn't compliant, it's just he kept coming up with the excuses as to why it wouldn't help anyways, which is always sort of sketchy. And so they did the math work on their own. It's not like they were just going off of that guy's video. It's not like they were just going off of the odds. They sat down and they did the math. And the odds are so impossibly high. Or impossibly low, I'm sorry. The odds are so impossibly low for that to have happened that there's almost virtually no way on planet Earth that it could have happened. I mean, in a lot of the things that people who follow him and support him say is like, oh, well, there's still a chance, though. But that's still, like, there's still a chance to win the lottery, but there's still skepticism when somebody wins.
Yeah.
And that has more of a chance of happening than what happened. You see, like, so, sorry, and I'll wrap this up. I'm talking too long about this. And so he went on his second Twitter and threw a fit. But not only did he throw a fit, he claimed that not only were the mods biased against him because he's a famous YouTuber, but they also, I don't know if he said this or people started saying this, but that they were jealous of him being a big YouTuber. Which, in my opinion, is super rude. The people who run these speedrun Discords and moderator teams, they don't make money off of it. At least I don't think. If they do, it's not much. They don't make a lot off of this, and they don't get a lot of... Or sorry, the other complaint was they wanted popularity off of it. Which, that's not how drama works. You don't get popularity for punching up. That's not how that goes. But it just feels super disrespectful to me to want to be a part of a community and actively participate in it. And then when people who are just trying to do their jobs that they don't even really get paid for try to do their jobs, then you yell at them and try to discredit them. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, that's super shitty.
I just haven't been able to discuss it up until now. I don't know if he cheated, obviously. They would know more than I would. But for an innocent person, he's acting pretty guilty. Pretty
guilty, indeed.
He put out...
he definitely just, like, fucking is a shithead.
Even
if he didn't cheat, he's a shithead.
That's the thing that makes me so mad, is even if he didn't cheat, and they were in the wrong, as a person who has a large platform, and is a big YouTuber, and has a monetary income besides from, like, doing speedrunning, he's much more popular than speedrunning at this point. Speedrunning is not even on his radar anymore. He just does Minecraft, which is fine. But to then go back on that and then act like the smaller person in the situation and then punch down on people who obviously are just trying to do their job that they're passionate in is just so crappy. Even if you're in the right, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Instead, and he made it sound like they went behind his back and didn't tell him anything and then just sprung this on him. He's known for like 3 months that they were about to take this down. I don't know. I apologize for that. That was, like I said, I just haven't been able to discuss it, and it's frustrating how much he's been acting like this, and because he has such a big following of younger people that will support him no matter what, he doesn't tell his younger fans to be like, hey, listen, this isn't something that's going to affect my current work. It's just something I'm frustrated about on the side. Nothing against the people working, they're just doing their job, but I'm just frustrated that my run is taking down. But instead, he just makes, I think he made a video in his main channel crapping on these mods and all this other stuff, and people in the speedrun community are like hating him right now because he's just treating everyone in that speedrunning community with disrespect. And I just don't get why you would do that. Those are the people that hold on to your records.
You're not going to get your record back that way.
Right. I don't understand why he thinks sending a bunch of young children that obviously will fight for him at this point and sick him on a bunch of mods that don't get paid is going to help him get his run back up. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's a shithead. He is a shithead.
I don't want to believe he's a shithead, but it's really hard not to right now with how he's acting about the situation.
He's fucked up this whole situation, it seems.
And what a person I follow, I think it's Dark Viper AU, he does Grand Theft Auto streams. He just said, like, he doesn't know Dream that well, but just off of how he talked on Twitter, he seems like a prick. And that sucks because from what I can tell based off of his live streams and like stuff that isn't scripted, he's a pretty decent person. Like, he's not a bad person either way, but like, you're the top guy on YouTube right now. You can't be throwing fits on your private account that isn't private.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, I'll stop. This isn't very wholesome, guys. I'm sorry. I just needed to go on.
Not wholesome 100.
I know. I'm so sorry. Did you just say wholesome 100? Have you seen that Kingpin video?
Oh yeah.
I love that video
next
so much.
Spider-Man won't be so wholesome 100.
Listen, Kingpin, you got. Did you just say wholesome 100? No.
Huh?
No.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that bit.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about while I rambled about nonsense?
Not really. I don't think so.
Okay. I might throw a question at you so that you can talk more because I've been talking for forever. And I want to give you time to say words. So I was gonna wait a little later, but we're already kind of hitting the like the ripe age of this podcast at an hour and 45 is usually when we kind of settle down. But
yeah.
So I guess what was the highlights for you in terms of so like it could be comics or movies or whatever. What were like some of the memorable things you read or watched or whatever this year?
Oh my god, it's been so long since we did the last one that I don't remember.
I know.
Specifically,
well, this is kind of a year recap, so if you repeat something, it's totally fine. I don't think it'll be too much.
All right, hold on. Let me try and log on to Goodreads so I can see what I've read. Hold on, go into my profile. I remember I've read some good stuff lately.
Yeah.
The Green Hand and Other Stories by Nicole Clavelier, who is a French comic artist.
Okay.
She's really good.
Yeah.
I'd recommend that. The stories are really good surrealist type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I read Peter Couper's adaptation of Kafka stories, which was fine. I haven't read a lot of Kafka, so I feel like I was missing out when I read that.
Gotcha.
In terms of movies, I watched this one called Elves.
Okay.
Which is this Christmas horror movie.
Really?
About an elf who was made by Nazi scientists.
As the best movie.
In order to breed with the perfect Aryan woman, in order to make the master race.
That's so weird.
Right?
What was our obsession
And
back then with Nazis?
I don't know.
It was like
I
the
blame
80s
Indiana
and 90s,
Jones.
wasn't it? Where we got really obsessed with Nazis.
Yeah, it was like the 80s
So,
where they were just like the bad guys.
I mean, it wasn't weird. It's just a weird. I don't know. I guess that's when all of media was starting to peak. Like video games and movies were starting to really peak
Peaking their Nazi
in
bashing.
their Nazi imagery. Yeah, and beating up Nazis.
Ooh, ooh. Uh, I also watched Inland Empire,
Nice.
which is a David Lynch movie.
Mm.
I was very confused upon finishing it, I remember. And now I can't get a coherent thought about it together right now.
All right.
Like, it's so weird.
I need to
But it's
get my
got Laura
leftover
Dern,
stuff.
and she's fucking hot, so watch
Hey, there you go.
it. um, I watched the Evil Dead movies on my birthday.
Yep,
You were
I
there.
was there for that.
You were there for that.
I was.
Um, I watched a lot of Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I recommend Black Santa's Revenge.
Okay.
Did you get that title? It's called Black Santa's Revenge.
So, so is that about a Santa who's black getting his revenge, or like a Santa in a black suit getting revenge, or
The first one was correct.
okay,
It stars. Do
interesting.
you know who Ken Foree is?
I think so.
Have you seen Dawn of the Dead,
Yes,
the original?
I think so. Yes.
He's the guy in that.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
The one who says the line, when there's no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth.
gotcha. Okay.
Uh, and he's just fucking giving it all
Yeah.
for this 20-minute short movie. It's got some fun stuff in it, but it's kind of terrible.
Hmm.
But it's fun, and it's only 20 minutes, so it's fun to watch.
Nice.
There's a scene where they're looking in this room, the storeroom, and there's supposed to be a bunch of toys in there.
Hmm.
But Ken Foree is just green screened, and behind him is just like this clearly photoshopped together room
Hmm.
of toys and boxes. Like clearly, like you take your first computer graphics class,
Right.
and your assignment is to make a joyful, toyful rooms, and that is what's behind him.
Interesting.
But he also blows people's heads off and shoots a hole straight through a guy, and the camera cuts to him looking through the hole. So it's fun.
There you go.
It, um, other than that,
I feel like I watched more than this. I feel like my year's watch thing got cut off somewhere. That's so weird.
yeah, it's
Maybe it's not showing like no. Well, now I'm just confused.
Hold on, let me see. Wait. Oh wait, we haven't done an episode since September, right?
Yeah.
Oh god, there's a whole month that oh god, there's so much. Hold on, let me try and find. Oh! Oh my god. Was I talking about Jan Schwankmajer in the last episode at all?
I don't think so.
Did I start all of that, like, after? Did I? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. No, I think I must have been doing that by the time. Where is it? Yeah, I was doing all that, I think. No, I think I started that right after. I started watching all of his stuff, Jan Schwankmajer. Do you know who he is?
Maybe. I feel like that's most of my responses to these questions. Is I feel like I might have heard of them, but I can't verify one way or the other.
He has a very recognizable style.
Okay.
Look, I don't know. He uses a lot of claymation and stop motion and puppetry.
Mm.
His stuff's really good. I'd really recommend it. I watched all his stuff except his last 3 movies
Gotcha.
they did. and they're all just fucking great. You can find a bunch of them online, like no problem.
What's the
Um,
what's the movie that just came out in theaters about the technology monster that I can't think of it?
Technology Monster.
It's what is it? Sorry, I'm trying to think of what this is.
Is it Mank?
No, no. There was one that just came out in theaters a little bit ago. Let me see if I can find it. It was about. Oh, maybe it's Come Play. Maybe that's what it is, and not Let's Play, huh? I still didn't watch Tenet, which I'm really mad about.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I don't really have
so
much
it's called
interest.
Come Play. I'll wait until you're done talking. It's COME play. It sounds wrong the way I'm saying it, but it's
I was thinking.
it's Come Play.
Come Play.
COME play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the word come and the word play.
I'm hoping you're taking the right version of this name, but yes.
Hold on. Um, Come Play With Me, Volume 1, also starring
No,
Nadia
it came out.
Thorne,
It came out this year.
Anita Blue, Jolene.
It came out this year. What? An average rating of 2.5 out of 5? That's criminal.
I don't know. This looks. Ooh.
Is it the
Hung
movie?
Young Brent, Two Hot UK Lads, Extreme Come Play. This is
No,
the movie?
that's not it. That's not the one. Back out.
There's Come With Me.
No, I don't think you're looking in the right spot. Here,
A lot of.
I'll link it to you. Here you go.
All these stills are really strange.
Yeah, I wouldn't
There's
Google
like a
it.
bunch of foam in people's mouths.
No, it's not that. I'll just let you know.
There's one where they had like this mouth thing that's keeping their mouth open, like at the dentist.
Um.
Huh. This looks like a really weird movie, Parker.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Legend Rebecca Bez and Come Play.
Here's the link for it. This is the real link for it. There you go.
Featuring adult superstar Chrissy Morin.
Nope.
Oh, I'll have to watch it then.
Not that one.
Okay. Enough of that.
I would also just really quick like to throw out a fact someone told me recently that apparently the Japanese voice actor for Kakashi from Naruto apparently does a lot of hentai voice acting. Like a lot, like in a similar voice to Kakashi's, and so people take his dialogue from those and pretends they're Kakashi. It's very interesting. But...
Well, you played some of Yakuza, right?
I've played some of it, an embarrassingly low amount, but yes, I have played some of Yakuza.
Well, you know Kiryu's voice actor.
Is he Kakashi?
No. What I was gonna say is he's done like yaoi stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gotta
be... JP, our friend JP.
Yeah.
Sent me this video once where it's just like him seducing this guy, and it's just Kiryu. It's just his voice.
That's so weird.
He's saying like really horny shit.
I mean, hey, listen.
So yeah,
I think
it's weird.
I think in Japan, I don't think those two like voice acting for regular Japanese media and voice acting for hentai, it doesn't sound like those two things are that different in terms of like acceptance.
Yeah.
It seems like a very common second route for Japanese voice actors.
I think it's just voice acting. That's
right.
just it.
It's a very, very different type. But I mean, I'm not going to shame anybody. It makes you money, man. You're making more money than I'm making.
It makes money.
Right.
Keeps you afloat.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Did you have more movies?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm all done.
I'll go through a couple of like the notable stuff from this year. These aren't all of my favorites. If you want to see our letterbox, I don't know what the plural is. I'll put them in the description after we're done, so that you can see what we both watched, if you care about that. So notable stuff. I watched that Call of the Wild, like the 80th Call of the Wild movie. With
with the dog.
Yeah, the Star Wars man was in it. It was I mean, it was Call of the Wild. I haven't watched too many Call of the Wilds, but from what I know, they're all the same movie, just filmed in different years. Um, so I guess just pick and choose your favorite version, because I've literally looked it up, and there are so many versions of this film. It's ridiculous. Um, I watched Wendy, Wendy. Um, it's like another take on Peter Pan, but it's probably the most like shocking interpretation of Peter Pan.
Oh.
I don't know how to explain it. It almost had like a really good premise, and then I just stopped caring. There's this whole premise where Wendy is like instead of Peter Pan. I think it's been like, I think I watched this at the beginning of quarantine, so I apologize if I have brain rot talking about this movie. But it's like Wendy and then the Lost Boys. There's no Peter Pan for some reason, I guess. Wendy and the Lost Boys go to Neverland, and the whole premise is like, if you stop believing that you're a child, you start aging rapidly.
Oh.
And so, and it sounded like a boring idea at first. I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But the way they did it was horrifying at first. Like, there was literally scenes or there was one scene, they never did it again, which made me mad. But there was a scene where all of a sudden one of these kids' arms start turning into an old man's. And it's pretty visceral how they do it. It's pretty gross. And they decide in the movie, well, we gotta chop his arm off. And so they chop his arm off. And I didn't expect it, because I thought it was gonna be like a kid's Peter Pan movie. But it's actually pretty dark. I wasn't paying attention the first time I watched it, but it was definitely a shocking watch. So I think everybody should view it when you can. I think it's on Amazon. I don't even know. It's hard to nail down what's good about that movie, but
That sounds interesting.
it's interesting. But like I said, it's only that one part that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, the whole movie has the premise, but it doesn't deliver it very well from there. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again.
Maybe.
I actually watched a lot of Korean media this year, like more than I've usually done, and I don't watch any. I watched the original Train to Busan, which is amazing.
Nice. Is there a remake?
So there's Train to Busan, and then there's a sequel of Train to Busan, which is like Train to Peninsula, or no, it's just Peninsula. But they're Korean made, directed, acted, whatever, zombie movies. And for a movie about zombies on a train, it's pretty fantastic.
It is.
I think it's on Netflix right now.
I think so.
But it's pretty great. There's some really great acting in it. It's just a lot of fun, and is a really memorable experience. I remember I watched it a couple months ago, and I still remember pretty much everything that happened in it, which is kind of rare for me in terms of movies like that. But I also watched, I'm gonna be mad, Sweet Home. Have you heard about that?
I gotta watch that.
I watched the first 4 episodes. It's really great. It's definitely got some cheesiness to it. They have this one Imagine Dragons song that they keep playing for some reason. And it sometimes fits, sometimes doesn't. But I think where people really, the movie's strengths are like the characters, the cinematography, and then the story. But the story is actually already a webcomic, so I guess that does make sense. But that is really great, and I recommend everybody watch it. It's on Netflix right now. I'll try to go fast with these last few. I watched. Okay. I know people are going to judge me for this, but I have been going to the theaters for a bit, not like every week or anything, but all of them have been like sanitizing, because I work at one, so I have to say this anyway. But all of them like sanitize, and they've been doing a pretty good job. I've watched the process and everything, so it's not like they're throwing you to the wind or anything. But I mean, if you still aren't comfortable, I won't judge anybody. Everybody might judge me though. I don't know. But
maybe I
watched Unhinged in the theater, and Unhinged is really great if you want to be stretched out for an hour. I've talked about Unhinged. Did you watch Unhinged since I talked about it?
No, but it sounds like a great time.
Yeah, I've explained it in an earlier episode. I think it was the last episode. Go watch it. But it's just,
Oh yeah,
it's what's the actor's name? I gotta think it before.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe being a crazy road raging driver and trying to kill this woman because she honks at him. That's literally the movie. I'm not exaggerating. Um, I mean, there's obviously more reasons why he did it, but it's essentially because she honked at him. I finally sat down and watched a ton of classic movies this year, including Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Nice,
the last two Alien movies that I haven't seen, which is Alien Covenant. It was meh, and Prometheus. It was okay. Um, I watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It was amazing. Um,
nice.
Halloween. Well, I've watched Halloween 1, but Halloween's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are all good. Friday the 13th, 2 and 3, and then Knives Out was amazing.
Have you seen Halloween 3?
I have seen Halloween 3. It's fantastic.
All right. Yes.
It's definitely a divide in horror fans because a lot of them are like, this is great, and then other ones are like, you guys are just people who really like movies. You'll like anything, which isn't untrue. But, and then you already mentioned a comic. Sorry, I'll try to be quick with comics because I forgot.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, I would like to say, do you know how I think I've mentioned this in the podcast before, that I really, really want Chainsaw Man to be be an anime.
I really gotta read Chainsaw Man sometime.
So I think I've definitely talked about Chainsaw Man in the past, but I don't know if I've mentioned that I want Chainsaw Man to be an anime because it's got a lot of stuff I want to see as an anime. It has been greenlit for an anime, for the record.
Of course, it's like super popular right
I know.
now.
So it got to the end of what I thought was the end of the series based on how they so spoiler alert, there is a lot of main character deaths in that manga. And so the way that was wrapping up, I just thought it was the end of the series. For reasons that I can't say because they're spoilers. But then
Yeah.
at the end of it, it just said end of part 1. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know where you're going to go from here, but all right. And then Immortal Hulk. I don't know how to stress more for everybody on this planet to be reading Immortal Hulk. That likes
I gotta read it.
It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's a very visceral reaction. It's just one of those things where you have to read it and then feel your reaction during it because it really is a shocking comic, and I'm incredibly surprised Marvel has been approving these issues.
I've seen pages, and
Yeah.
I'm also super surprised.
Like Marvel's always been very protective of their characters. Like they want people to remember them as one thing. I mean, obviously they've killed them off before and changed them and whatever, but at the core, that character and those themes have always stayed relatively the same. But Immortal Hulk goes so far away from what superhero comics are that it's technically not even a superhero comic anymore. I don't feel like, to me, it just has become a horror comic, and it's a lot of body horror, but also a lot of like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like eldritch cosmic horror somehow.
Yeah.
How somehow they've achieved that with Hulk. They've achieved a lot of like psychological horror on top of that. I don't know. It's all just really, really good, and it's got all these Marvel characters in it, and it ties in with other issues and stuff. And everybody should be reading it all at the same time. And then the last thing, Daredevil comics are fantastic. Everybody read those.
Ooh, which specific ones?
So I'm reading the current ones. I'm trying to go back from there, but I will say that even for superhero comics, they've really gone. It feels like they've gone back to what people really like about Daredevil, which is like, but correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not as well versed in older Daredevil stuff, but it really does feel more like a person being Daredevil and dealing with real person things versus, I don't know. I feel like the last few years Daredevil's been kind of a little bit less of that. Iron Man's been trying to.
Yeah.
Iron Man's been trying to do that too. Iron Man's trying to go back to just being a guy.
Gotta go back to just being a guy.
I gotta stop. Well, that's literally the whole. There's only 4 or 5 issues out of the Iron Man stuff right now, but he's literally the whole time he's like, it's kind of this whole play on how people hate rich people in real life right now, and so a lot of his like social media and stuff is him trying to save people, and then all of these people coming on and like flipping it around and being like, oh yeah, but you make this much money, blah blah blah, which I get where they're going with it, but they're almost kind of making him a victim for being rich, which is so weird.
I've seen something from that. It was so funny.
Like I like where they're going because it's purposeful. Like it's supposed to be, oh, how funny is it that this rich guy, that's his biggest issues right now. But
yeah,
at the same time, it really does feel like they're like, I'm rich now. I hate that I'm rich. And then, do you have more stuff? I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot today.
No, I think I've got stuff.
I'm gonna see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. Venom's okay. I'm catching up to Venom. It's all right. The Absolute Carnage tie-in, I was like 6 months late to that. That's okay too.
How many? Sorry, this is kind of going back a little. How many Daredevil comics have you read? Like, what specific ones?
Do you mean in terms of like sections of time, like if I've read the 2021s versus the 2016s?
Like storylines.
I have not read a lot. Admittedly, I'm pretty new to Daredevil stuff, but after reading, go ahead.
Have you read the Frank Miller ones?
No, which is next on my list because I know it's an essential comic in general.
Those are for Daredevil even. Those are essential.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like 2020 is a good jumping off point. Again, maybe I'm wrong because I don't read a lot of them, but it does seem like Marvel's current objective is to go back to the themes that all of these comics had originally. So like Spider-Man is very reminiscent of early, like, sure there's danger, but everything's kind of lighthearted parts of Spider-Man, and the Immortal Hulk stuff, the author has said purposefully he is trying to go back to like the first 5 or 6 issues of like the original Hulk stuff, like back when he was just a scary monster and they were trying to do horror, like trying to go all the way back to that. And so it feels like a lot of the stuff Marvel's putting out right now, after you've caught up, it's a good place to go back now for like older stuff that has that same theme almost.
Cool.
It feels like that's a lot of their comics right now. And the one thing I will say is I'm pretty glad that a lot of their comics tie in together. DC does, but I don't feel like they do it as much as Marvel does. Like, a character will show up and just casually be in almost like in a uniform that they're only in for a couple issues that are on, so you know where the timeline is. And Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, is the mayor in New York right now, and so instead of just having him be the mayor in Spider-Man or just having him be the mayor in Daredevil, he's literally the mayor in 5 or 6 different comics right now. And he's sometimes a minor character and sometimes like actively participating in whatever that series is. I don't know, just stuff like that, like having anchoring points for multiple stories without having it be a 12-issue crossover you have to keep switching back and forth between. It's just cool. I don't know.
That's also something they used to do.
Yeah. And it's not that they dropped off of it, but DC and Marvel both did this thing where they have crossovers, but they don't reference each other's comics, really. They're just kind of like, oh, hey, Superman's here. Where are you at in the timeline? I don't know. You're just kind of here. Also, DC's entire timeline is kind of bunk right now. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what the fuck's happening with DC.
Well,
how does the Doomsday Clock fit in?
It doesn't. So that's the thing that drives me insane about Doomsday Clock. So have you read it?
No. I'm
So,
staying far away from that shit.
do you care if I talk about it for like a minute?
No.
Doomsday Clock was essentially Marvel like, or sorry, DC. DC wanted
Mm-hmm.
so badly to get Watchmen fans on board with DC stuff, and I think Watchmen fans are not super happy with DC because of how they treat Watchmen properties in general.
Yeah.
And Alan Moore's talked about that before, and it's a pretty well known thing at this point by comic fans. And so I think what they were trying to do, and this is the most innocent thing they could have been doing, is they could have been like, hey, let's get Superman in the same existence as Mr. Manhattan and everybody else, and merge these two universes together so that we can keep it going and keep these two universes going and talk more about Watchmen stuff. Sorry, 1 second. I'm taking medicine.
Mm-hmm. So, Parker, do you know why they want people to keep talking about Watchmen so bad?
Because they need money.
Well, yes, but also they can only keep the rights to Watchmen if they just keep publishing it.
Yep. So,
like, they don't want to be in a spot where they have to stop publishing it and then it goes all back to Alan Moore,
which is garbage.
And Dave Gibbons.
So, a big example of that, I think what the deal is it seems like it's like every 4 or 5 years, because when did the original Watchmen series come out?
That was 86.
So since then, they did a couple comics around Watchmen, and then they reprint it every couple of years, so it technically means they're reusing the copyright.
Yeah.
And then when people got tired of that, they made that movie that some people didn't like. And then around that same time, they made spin-off comics about every single character in the Watchmen series and watered down those characters.
Yes.
And then some years after that, they just put out Doomsday Clock. And oh man, is it a slap to the face. Like, I don't know, after reading it, who it's supposed to appeal to. Like, it's obviously not appealing to Alan Moore fans because
No.
A lot of so Rorschach is a different person, which makes sense because Rorschach's dead. Spoiler alert for something that came out in the 1980s. But Rorschach is dead, and so they replaced him with a different character. But
Rorschach's dead, miss him.
But Mr. Manhattan is barely in the story, even though the entire point is that Mr. Manhattan and Superman are about to go head to head by the time the clock strikes the Superman logo. No, I'm not kidding. Like, all of
strikes the Superman logo?
Yes, all of the promotional material in the back of all of the issues show a yellow clock representing the actual real life Doomsday Clock, but whatever the final strike is has the Superman logo.
Fuck them. Fuck DC. Come on.
And so the whole point is everything that's happening right now, and this isn't like me perceiving something off of their advertising. They pretty much all the way up to the road to Doomsday Clock, they talked about how there was going to be an inevitable clash between Dr. Manhattan or Mr. Manhattan, whichever one of the two. Is he Dr. Manhattan? Dr. Manhattan. Sorry, I did not mean to discredit him. Dr. Manhattan and Superman were going to butt heads.
Dr. Superman.
Exactly. I'm so sorry. Dr. Superman and Dr. Mr. Manhattan. They were going to clash at some point. And they made that obvious by the promotion, by that clock. There was an obvious implication that he was going to clash with Dr. Manhattan, Dr. Mr. Manhattan. And so the question was, between the most powerful, which they revealed Dr. Mr. Manhattan created the New 52 universe, first of all, which is almost feels invalidating of like two entire series to me. But technically he made the New 52 universe because he got bored or something. And so he makes this universe, and then they are the guy who made the universe, it has potentially unlimited power, really, goes against Superman, who I get is strong, but versus the guy who literally created him is strange.
Versus God.
Well, I guess this Superman is another Superman. So I think this Superman is the so so there's two different Earths. There's the one before New 52, and then there's New 52, and I think the current Superman came from the pre-New 52 universe. And so it's like the one that's super strong. So I guess the strongest version of Superman, one of the strongest, versus Dr. Mr. Manhattan. And they bumped this up in like the way the characters were talking, it was inevitable that it was going to happen. They were inching closer and closer. And there was essentially a subplot going on that like there was a theory that the government has been creating these superheroes this whole time. Which like every comic in the 80s and 90s has already done that premise, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, The Boys obviously did that premise. But, I mean, it was cool. They did it with actual superheroes, and, like, it was an interesting tension. But essentially what it came down to, when the issue hit and the clock struck Superman, Superman and Dr. Mr. Manhattan met up. And essentially what happened is Mr. Manhattan was like, oh, hey, Superman, what's up? You want to team up and fight? And Superman was like, yup. And that's what happened.
And I don't want to read superhero comics anymore.
It's so frustrating to me because I like DC. I mean, I think right now I'm into more Marvel stuff right now than DC, but I like DC. I get that some people have an issue with how they run comics, but in terms of stories, I like where they go with it. But it's just so frustrating to not only make something outside of the continuity, so you already know doesn't affect it. I think it's outside of the continuity. They never really explain. Because that event where there's tensions between superheroes and civilians never happens in the regular comics. There's not even like a mention of it, so it obviously couldn't have happened, right?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, it's the same issue with, they tried to do, have you heard of the Three Jokers thing that they did?
Yes, that one sounds so just like
it's
confusing.
Oh my gosh, it's just, if those two stories feel like two punches to the gut to people who care about DC stuff. Because that second comic is outside of the continuity. For some reason. So, it came off, I will go quick because I keep talking and I'm sorry. There was a thing years ago in DC where Batman learned that there are three Jokers, right? Have I talked to you about this before?
Okay, no.
So, Batman got into this chair that essentially will tell him anything, right? And so, like anything on the planet, or it knows everything, he knows everything by asking this chair everything, right? And so, he asks all this dumb stuff, and then he asks, what is the name of the Joker? Okay, which is weird because I don't think Batman's ever, yeah, he has cared. He's like, what's the name of the Joker? And then the chair reveals that there's three Jokers, okay? And so, first of all, he never goes like, oh, okay, well, what's the name of the three Jokers? He's just like, oh, I guess there's three Jokers. And that's just the end of that for like 5 years. And then they make this comic, and they're like, this is the explanation of why it said there's three Jokers. And then it's out of continuity, and it never explains why there's three Jokers. Batman.
And that's why I don't want to read superhero comics anymore.
Just, I think if I were to recommend any kind of superhero comics to you, Sam, right now, in the current climate of comics, I think I'd recommend Marvel.
Okay.
They're just much more respectful to the original comics that they're based off of right now, and they're trying really hard to bring in older, like, not just superhero comic fans, but like comic fans back in, it feels like. But DC, I feel like they're just slipping, and I don't understand why.
I just want the big two to go down in general.
What's that?
Just independent publishing come in.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they need a different perspective than whoever the hell is making executive decisions like that up there. Like
Yeah.
it feels like at Marvel they put in all these new faces and legends that have been making comics outside of Marvel for years into seats where they can be like, okay, this is what I know people want based off of publishing independent stuff. Like, I'm gonna feel bad. Is it Francis Bacon that made Silver Surfer? I know it's. I'm sorry if that's the wrong name.
What?
Who made the recent Black Silver Surfer Black comics? Man, I'm sorry. I'm falling apart tonight.
Donny Cates and Trad Moore.
Tradmore. Why did I think Bacon was part of
Francis
his name?
Bacon is a painter.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he. I mean, he's been doing comics outside of Marvel, right?
Trad Moore?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's made stuff for Image.
right. And so he would know. I think more than some people at DC, obviously, but probably more than some Marvel people. Here's what people who aren't just reading Marvel want out of Marvel.
Yeah.
And they're providing, and it's great. Like he and like those two who made Silver Surfer Black have also been making Thor. Well, maybe not the artist. I know the writer has been making
Not the
Thor.
artist.
And tying it together with Silver Surfer Black and stuff, and it's great because he knows that that's what people want out of Thor, and all these writers know what people want out of these stories, and it's turning out great.
Yeah.
But I feel like DC is this weird echo chamber right now, where they don't want to hear anything else but, oh, people still like Batman, boss. They still like him, even though our story makes no sense right now. And he's like, perfect.
It seems like recently they've been trying to get on this meta kind of track.
Yeah. Who,
Like
DC or Marvel?
they're trying to just like comment on themselves. It's just a headache.
Well, I think their biggest issue is for Marvel. I think they've been switching between a couple different writers every now and then, and a couple different authors. Or I mean, a couple different artists. But it's not like a huge change. Like they all know where the story's going, and they've been doing it in chunks, right? Which for Spider-Man and stuff works. Like Spider-Man's always been good for chunks of stories that move along at a whatever pace, so you can bring new writers in and whatever. It's not super well structured right now, but that's kind of what they're doing. But what DC decided to do with the Rebirth stuff is they put one writer in charge of each story. Sometimes one writer in charge of a couple stories. And so they're all just this one long story arc that just go on forever. Like the first 100 issues, we're on like 103 now. The first 100 issues of Batman were this one storyline of like Batman being broken down and losing a bunch of his allies and being broken down back to Bruce Wayne without all of the money and whatever, right? And they took 100 issues to do that. And now we're just lollygagging into whatever story is happening right now with a different writer.
That, Marker, that is a long-standing tradition in superhero comics.
Right. And it just feels like Marvel's kind of got a handle on how not to do that. And DC doesn't.
Yeah. Marvel is sticking with the, one, like a year-long track of comics is one story with a writer and an artist.
Yeah.
That's like probably the best way you could do it in superhero stuff right now. I don't think it's not a good idea to just kind of street consciousness type stuff where there's a bunch of different people involved.
I just don't. It
becomes a mess.
It almost feels like at the Marvel Studios, they all are in one office building, and they can go over to another writer and be like, "Hey, I'm thinking of including your character that you're working on right now in this story. What do you think I could do to make it so that it looks like they're in continuity with each other?" Or they get in a boardroom together and go, "Hey, we're making a crossover event. What should we each be doing to reflect each other's characters?" Right? But at DC, it's like they're in different buildings.
Yeah.
It's like the writers all have dedicated buildings where they have to like send a fax over to the other building to get communication. And it's just too much work, and they're just like, I'll just throw Batman in and hope he has the right outfit. I don't know. I'm sorry I've been talking so much tonight. I'm trying really hard not
No.
to. But
Whatever happened to famous funnies? Let's go back to those days.
wait, what is it?
Show me a comic where the punchline is a guy falling over. Give me that.
You're referring to Archie comics right now, and you're speaking, or you may not be, but it's close to Archie comics. And
Give me a comic where a man with a handlebar mustache walks up to an ice cream stand. And he doesn't have enough money, and so he flops over, and the kid says something snarky. Give me that. Let's go back.
I really like the more
Print it on a newspaper, then fold it in half. Come on.
the more I've read like mainstream comics right now, the more I've come to appreciate and have a newfound appreciation for Archie comics.
Yeah, Archie comics are actually like fun.
I just always like. I think this is the case with older, like not older, but like 2000s Simpsons comics and some Futurama comics. Although I haven't read too many of those, but like just random whatever stories that don't have anything to do with what they're about, and they're just like, haha, let's let loose and talk about this, and it's just so many digestible stories that you're like, oh, that was a lot of fun to read. I'm glad I read all those random ridiculous stories. I missed that.
Yeah.
But like Archie comics now, I feel bad for them because of what Riverdale has done to them.
They gotta be sexy now.
They gotta be sexy now. Well, and I've been looking at. I haven't been reading because I don't care, but I've been looking at the covers for the newer Archie comics, and I guess they've just run out of story because now they're just publishing these issues that are like almost like Marvel What If comics, but people shipped with Archie. I'm not kidding. So like they did a 5-issue miniseries on Archie and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is in the same universe as them.
Okay.
And then they did like Betty and Veronica before that, and now they're pulling these like weird side characters dating him. And I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I'm probably gonna read them, but but it's such a weird.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they ran out of a story a little while ago, and so now they're just filling up pages until they have another one.
Well, Archie canonically dies. We know he dies.
Did he recently?
Do you not remember that comic where Kevin was running for like senator or something?
Oh yeah.
And then Archie took a bullet for him, and it's set in the future.
Oh, so maybe he did die or something, and they're just.
Archie dies. We know he dies. So like, what's the point of these stories now?
I don't know.
We know how it ends.
Well, the newer Archie stuff is in a different continuity. It's what I like to call the almost Riverdale Archie continuity. It's what all of Riverdale is inspired off of, but actually kind of okay. Riverdale just kind of soap operaed it, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't read too much of it, so I can't say. But
yeah.
But it's I really like. Have you heard of Afterlife with Archie?
Yes, I have. Is that the one with Jughead's a zombie?
Yes.
I've heard of that.
The imagery in that is pretty good for like a pre-reboot kind of thing. It was like their first introduction into the current stuff for Archie, like adults or like college, like late high school kids in a modern setting kind of thing.
Yeah.
But lesser known from Afterlife with Archie, there's actually another adult-ish comic series about Archie, if I can find it. Maybe I can't. But it is essentially Archie, but with werewolves.
Oh.
And what's interesting is, for some reason, Jughead is also a werewolf in this. I don't know why they hate Jughead so much. But
that Jughead.
Where is it? I gotta find it. It's like Silver something. I don't remember. I can't find it.
Silver Bullet?
Silver Bullet. Yep. It's okay. It's Jughead as a werewolf. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. Like I said, if you like standalone stuff with just the characters and don't care about it, like one long-term story and just want to read about a bunch of Archie characters dying. Hey, those exist. Um,
Archie versus the Punisher.
Archie versus the Punisher. I didn't read that, but I know it's part of their. Oh no, that's not the same thing. Um,
Or Archie versus the Predator.
there's so many of those. Archie is like the easiest character to cross over with for some reason.
Because they're so simple. Characters are so simple.
He's like the. I don't know if many people get like understand where I'm coming from with this, but he's almost like the Devil Man of American comics. Well, why I say that is, have you seen how many crossovers of Devilman exist?
Oh.
It's a lot. I mean, it's not a lot, but he's crossed over with a lot of like popular Japanese anime at that time. He's crossed over with a lot of them.
Okay.
Primarily, what is that one? Sorry, this is gonna take me a second. It's that one popular. Was it a live action show that existed around the same time? I'm sorry, I'm blacking out. Give me 1 second and I'll look. Devil Man, but they made like Devil Woman.
Yeah, Devil Lady.
Crossover, which is weird because, I mean, again, spoiler alert for Devil Man. Have you watched or read it or anything?
I think it was 2019 show.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, Devilman does die at the end. But it's a pretty self-contained series. Like, it's...
So did Archie.
That's true. He's done a lot of chibi stuff. He crossed over with... what is this called? He crossed over with a lot of mech anime.
Well, didn't Go Nagai, didn't he do some mech anime? Or mech manga?
I think so. I think what I was thinking of...
I think it's his.
I think what I was thinking of a minute ago, I said the wrong thing, but it's Cyborg 009 versus Devilman. I was thinking of the wrong thing, but they've done 3 different crossovers with those 2 series. I don't know. He's just done a lot of crossovers, and I feel like Archie's very similar in that. So, therefore, Devilman and Archie are the same. It's the same story, guys. That's the issue.
Just deal with it.
Story about a kid with a sweater vest going to high school is the exact same as the story of a kid possessed by a devil, whose friend is actually God.
It's weird when Veronica, her head is like on a spike. That was a weird part of Archie.
It was weird. And
then Jughead turned out to be Satan, and he had wings and tits.
Yep.
Very strange. Very strange.
It was a very weird way to take
the
the Archie series, but you know what?
Yeah. Very strange.
I think
they did the same exact thing to Sonic, which was strange.
It was strange. I think I've always been a really big fan of how manga has a tendency to end off with all of the characters being dead and everything being bleak.
Yeah.
I have a pretty big obsession with that. I don't know what it is about that I really like, but like the Evangelion's manga ending. I mean, they all are different, but they're essentially the same kind of ending.
I haven't seen Evangelion, so don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't spoil it, but I'm trying to see if I can think of another example. But you get what I mean. Like, mangas in series where that's it.
Uzumaki.
Oh, sorry.
That's a good example.
Oh, Uzumaki, yes, you're right. Uzumaki is a good example of that.
Spoiler, sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, we might as well just put a big spoiler warning over all of our titles from now on, because we're going to spoil everything we talk about. But Uzumaki is a good example. I think the only thing about Uzumaki is I think they kind of have a hint of hope at the end. I don't remember, though. It's been a little bit since I've read it. I need to brush off my copy. I think they have some kind of like, oh, this is all unconsequential.
They basically just learn to accept that they're going to be absorbed by this thing.
Right. But it almost, it is that, but it's on a much bigger scale. I can't think of what I'm trying to think of right now. But Evangelion has similar endings, and I won't spoil it, but all of Evangelion, every single version of it has a different ending to the series.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that goes into that manga just has more of a tendency to just be like complete.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's like One Piece where it's going on for like 300 chapters.
Mm.
But like, like there's a lot of manga series where they do have a definite ending.
Right.
It's not like the manga creator stops it and then someone else picks it up
Well,
and
and
does it.
that's what's so strange about Evangelion is Evangelion has gone through like developmental hell through all three stages of
Hmm.
its life. So like, or I guess there's been several because there's more media than just the three. But the main series. Do you know much about the main series? This isn't story wise, just production wise.
No.
So the main series, I don't remember when it airs, but towards the end of the series' lifespan, they ran out of money to produce the series. And so what ended up happening for I think it's either the second half of the second to last episode and the last episode, or just the last episode, is all storyboards.
Oh.
Like they literally just used the storyboards they had because they ran out of money to animate it, and it's actually a pretty artistic way to end the entire series. And I mean, people will get why when they get to that point. The movie, the Evangelion, the end, the movie is like the last bit of the anime, and then the actual ending with funding. And I guess the director finally wanted to tell what he wanted to originally, in a different way, and so the ending for that is different. And then they made the manga, and I guess they thought a very different audience was going to read the manga, and they didn't want it to be as bleak, and so they changed the ending to the manga a little bit as well. So all these different iterations of Evangelion all have different endings. They're all similar, but they all have different endings, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of
sorry.
No, you're fine. I feel bad. I've sucked up most of the time of this podcast talking about nonsense.
Parker, it's a podcast.
It's that
You're fine.
But
You're
yeah,
meant to talk.
I feel like I have more talking points, but we've already hit like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was trying. I was gonna like. I was thinking like, man, I should tell Parker we should wrap up.
Yeah.
But then like my anxiety would be like, no,
No, you're fine.
I don't want to interrupt him.
So I think the only thing I can say from here on is, first of all, Merry Christmas, everybody. I guess it's technically
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's legally Christmas Eve now. You can legally say Merry Christmas Eve.
Oh
yeah. But Merry Christmas Eve. I hope everything
Merry
goes well
Eve.
for everybody.
Hope everyone had a happy Hanukkah if you
Yes.
celebrate that, or Diwali.
Sorry this year sucked.
Yes, that's not our fault.
It's not everybody's fault. It's irresponsible to say next year will automatically be better. Like everything will just instantly be fine, but maybe it'll be better by comparison. I mean, you never know.
You never know.
I mean, luckily we're all relatively young people, and so we'll all be able to look back on things and be like, oh, well, at least this isn't as bad as 2020 was, right? I don't know. At least we got that.
Hopefully it won't be, oh, this is as bad as 2021 was, huh?
Well, I mean, the good news is time repeats itself, just like how back in the 1920s when they had a virus, and then afterwards there was a huge boom in the economy. Supposedly the same thing's going to happen here. And
well, it's funny you say that because, like, as time repeats itself, it's just like, the Home Alone movies. Second one repeated
full
the first
circle.
one, and I brought it full circle.
We're back to the beginning.
Now we can end the podcast with closure.
I really like the joke that people will be doing the New Year's countdown, and they're like 3, 2, 1, and they all look at their clocks, and then it says 12:61. And then the time just keeps going.
Oh god!
Or that it'll,
oh god!
Instead of saying 2021, it'll just say 2020 Part 2. I don't know. I think those
2020 sucks.
I mean, they give me anxiety like all hell, but I think they're very funny. Just the thought that like it might never end is very funny to me, and also horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully next year's better. Did you? So Sam, while we're still here, did you like doing a live stream versus a edited thing where we had to wait a bit?
I mean, it didn't seem really much different.
I feel like to me it's a little better because I don't have to edit it.
Did anyone even watch?
No,
That's the question.
but again, usually what we end up relying on is people watching the video afterwards. So
Yeah,
I'm not taking it too personally. But I'm hoping after this point, when people start seeing that they're going to be live, or if we continue to do it live, that they'll want
yeah.
to show up and ask stuff. Um,
Uh,
that's my hope with it, at least. Uh, so yeah,
hopefully. Let's do this again sometime.
yeah, definitely. Maybe next time we'll have a guest. We have a couple people that have been interested. I'm looking forward to maybe doing something with them, but we still have to record an actual episode at some point of something
Yeah,
before we do a guest. Um,
yeah.
but we will be doing those things hopefully soon. I'm back out of the terrible month that was November and December, but um, hopefully stuff's better now with everything. Um, so yeah, Sam, do you want to close out with your stuff? Like, do you have anything you want to say before we leave?
My @ is @ComicNerdSam.
Yep.
I'm on Twitter. I might be doing something special for 2021.
Ooh,
Some project that I want to do.
there you
So
go.
keep an eye out for that.
Um, and as for me, mine is @Parks00. I put art on there. Um, and yeah, I don't have anything to promote yet. At least nothing I know if I'm allowed to or not. So, but I will.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that after we close. But yeah, thanks for watching,
Okay.
everybody.